This is oxytocin. Actually, no, this isn't oxytocin. In reality, this is only a schematic of a molecule. In some ways, this black and white image can be thought of as a symbol of knowledge, rather than being in any way important to recognize in its own right. Oxytocin itself is better described by its actions than by a drawing. It's a molecule that is central to human reproduction, our emotional well-being, even the fierce bond that is forged between a mother and her child. To simply show an image of molecular bonds, complex as they may be, is actually a simplification, obscuring the real power within. This dichotomy between symbol and purpose is mirrored in the path a student of medicine must take to become a complete physician. Medicine stands uniquely at the intersection of science and the human condition. As such, medical students must learn to address healing not only on a biological level, but also on an emotional plane. We understand that good physicians embrace both of these elements, often forging a human connection as they heal a patient. Despite the fact that students supposedly understand the importance of this union, there is a pervasive tendency to gloss over learning the skills that would help them interact with patients. While students will spend long nights cramming the details of enzymatic reactions, it's rare that they exert similar effort to hone their abilities to interact with patients, or to dwell on how a medical condition will truly affect the life of their patient. In effect, they focus more on the symbols of medicine, neglecting the underlying power. And so we return to symbols. A first-year medical student coming off biochemistry, or a second-year student cramming for boards, would probably recognize this and say, "That is serotonin." If they had just taken an exam, they would probably even be able to diagram its biosynthesis and feel very clever, talking about the structure of molecules, the sequence of carbon rings, and describing the enzymatic transmutations of inert chemicals into powerfully effective biomolecules that are unleashed upon the body. Students learn the specifics of how proteins we eat are transported from the small intestines to the bloodstream, how blood courses through the body, how individual cells pick up these building blocks, and how they use them to change themselves or cells all over the body. With further study, students understand that the molecules do not act in isolation, but through triggering cascades and starting chain reactions with myriad downstream effects. The activation of a receptor can be like pulling a pin from a grenade, triggering explosions of cellular reactions. They read about bonding and emotion, the complexities of which seem beyond comprehension at times. Each additional layer of information adds to the labyrinth of medical education, a maze that can build on its own accord with increasing but unending complexity. All of these statements are true. Serotonin is made from proteins. It does act on different cells in different ways. It does modulate mood. But even this seeming complexity is still simplistic, glossing over the serotonergic bliss felt while falling in love, or the black emotional void in individuals who are serotonin deprived. So where are we now? If knowledge is pursued for its own sake, the original intent of studying starts to fade, and unconnected facts pile up. An astute medical student must constantly question, why am I learning these paths? What is the purpose? This is the critical question that must be asked if a student is going to transition into a complete physician. In doing so, students begin to see that these discordant fragments of facts can build on themselves, becoming a twisting sea of knowledge with more and more connections. As the purpose of medicine becomes clear, disparate groups become unified and patterns start to emerge. Just as a drawing of oxytocin is not what oxytocin is, neither is the memorization of rote knowledge actually medicine. Medicine is not memorization, but the application of that information to serve a deeper purpose. It's applying those skills to ease suffering, to promote healing, and to help people connect with each other that is the true purpose of medicine.